This week we're looking at the sixth commandment, do not murder. And I introduced it yesterday by saying that, that it's not as simple as you might think, or at least I'm not going to make it simple. That might be what you're thinking, but I would argue I'm simply trying to explain all that's going on here. These three words pack a big punch. Now, the command to not murder has implications in all kinds of hot topics, suicide and abortion and euthanasia and capital punishment. Okay, a lot of these topics I have opinions about. Some of the times I share my opinions on those topics, but that's not where I want to go with this commandment this week. Those are all downstream from the big ideas that I want to be sure that I set in front of you. So I want to focus on why murder is wrong and then share a couple New Testament updates about how we're to understand this passage. So, two things today to get us started. The first is that you need to understand that murder is wrong, and Exodus 20 is not the only place where we see this. We're going to see it throughout the New Testament. Perhaps the biggest place we see it is in Genesis chapter 4. So Genesis 1 through 3 is the initial setup, creation, fall, promise. Genesis 12 is where God calls Abraham, and then we're going to get the fulfillment of the promise rolling out through Abraham and his descendants, through Isaac, the Jews. Between Genesis 3 and Genesis 12, we have Genesis 4 through 11, and this is where we see that the effects of the fall and the curse are profound, and that humans are on a downward spiral, that people are really broken, and things go from bad to worse to worse to worse. And one of the early things that we see here is the murder, fratricide. Cain kills Abel, which I remember always, Cain kills Abel because Abel was not able to defend himself. So you have the murder that goes on here, and you see God's response to the murder of Abel. So murder is wrong. The second thing I want to establish today is that the word is murder, it's not kill. And I stress this for a few reasons. One is because the King James Version translated as kill, which is a little bit broader term. And I preached a message, like 30 years ago. I preached a message on this commandment. And I got a really nasty letter back. This is before email. I got a really nasty letter back from somebody who was furious at me that I had said murder, not kill. And they called me all kinds of names, which I thought was ironic, since I had in that sermon talked about the fact that when Jesus updates this, he's like, it's not just killing somebody, it's being angry with them and calling them bad names. So I was pretty unsuccessful in that sermon. By the way, not the most ironic piece of criticism that I've ever gotten. I reserve that for a letter I received, also a letter, not a email. It was years ago. I had preached on hell, and I had said that I didn't like it. I didn't like the doctrine. I believed in it. This is what Jesus teaches, and I'm teaching on it because Jesus teaches on this, and I said I just don't like it. And I got a letter calling me a coward for saying that I didn't like it and that I was spineless, and that I should be ashamed of myself for not taking a stand. And this particular letter was unsigned, which I thought was uniquely ironic, since they were calling me a coward for not taking a stand, and then they didn't sign their letter. So I want to be clear, this command is about murder, and we're going to see that this is, in particular, this is the kind of death that results from vengeance, from somebody taking an act of vengeance and trying to hurt other people. It's not manslaughter. It's not other kinds of killing. So there are passages of the Bible, especially as we get into just war and military service and other things, where killing, while regrettable, while a sign of the fall, is certainly not what is being thought of, nor is self-defense. And so We're talking about murder. We'll come back to this tomorrow. Have a good day.